It's August 27th, 2017. On the main stage sits Daniel Rodriguez, otherwise known as ChuDat, a 30-year-old Ice Climbers player who represents the old guard of Melee. Next to him is William Jelta, otherwise known as Leffen, a 23-year-old Swedish Fox player who represents a new era of Melee. The tournament is Shine 2017, and it's the first set of loser side top 8. The loser of this set will be knocked out of the event at 7th place. Pretty cut and dry, right? Well, not really. This is the story of one of Melee's greatest tournament sets. That never happened.
Dude, I'm so nervous, I'm so happy right now, but I feel great.
I really just wanted to get my side of the story out of the open.
Dude, it's really, really shitty. I hate Leffen so much. No, I'm kidding, I actually love Leffen. Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat his ass next time.
Shine 2017 was a national-level Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament, taking place on August 25th to 27th at the Seaport World Trade Center in Boston, Massachusetts. The first tournament in the series was just a year prior, in 2016, which served as New England's first major event since the days of MLG Boston 2004. The event itself was, in so many words, completely insane. Sidetracking a bit, but to name a few things, Panda Global's Plup went Samus through the entire tournament and completely ran train on his way to a 5th place finish. M2K vs Shroom was pretty dramatic. The two played a Sheik Ditto in the winner's side bracket, and the thing about Sheik Dittos is that they can be pretty boring. The character has a near infinite chain grab on herself, which can turn Sheik vs Sheik sets into who's able to get the first grab. So for this very reason, many players maintain a quote-unquote gentleman's agreement where both players will agree to not chain grab for the duration of the set to make for more interesting gameplay. Shroom went up 2-1 in the Ditto versus Mewtwo King, and long story short, Mewtwo King told him that he would be playing with chain grabs for the following games.
All right, we agreed to no chain grabs. And so, we're having a good set, and then I slowly start fucking him up. He's getting fucking whooped. Yeah, he's getting whooped. And game 4, or I win game 3, and he's just like, all right, chain grabs on next game.
Mewtwo King might have won that set. Oh, and let's not forget S2J, who made an unbelievable run to 3rd place, which included a historic upset victory over the aforementioned Mewtwo King. But money and glory, those don't really matter. The important thing to come from S2J's run was quite possibly the greatest pop-off of all time. All of these were without a doubt memorable, but it wouldn't be until loser's side top 8 where the tournament would really begin to spiral out of control. And who better to bring the chaos than this guy? ChuDat is widely considered to be one of the best Ice Climbers players in the world, as well as the greatest Ice Climbers player of all time. In 2016, he was ranked 22nd on Melee.me's top 100 list. He's grown with the game from its early beginnings, and he's made a name for himself, his character, and his personality.
I'm too dead, I'm too good. Yeah! I'm now a Super Saiyan.
Leffen, on the other hand, has built a different reputation over the years. Originally known as a villain of the Smash community, Leffen had been ranked the 5th best player in the world prior to Shine 2017. He's one of the few players in the world given the title Godslayer, a name describing a Smasher capable of defeating each of the 5 gods of Melee during their period of dominance. In a double elimination tournament, both players have the opportunity to advance further after falling in the winner's side bracket, but they need to play twice the sets in the loser's side bracket to make it to the same placement. The winner's side bracket serves as a bit of a cushion to advance as far as possible, and the loser's side is where everything is for keeps. Leffen and ChuDat had the chance to meet on the winner's side, but each fell a single set short with respective losses to Plup and Mango. In their redemption run on the loser's side of bracket, ChuDat would first play West Balls and Leffen would face Pew Pew U. Both sets went off without a hitch, with Chu winning 3-1 and Leffen winning 3-0. And as fate would have it, a single win in each of their brackets would qualify the two players for top 8, and they would be scheduled as the first match for Championship Sunday. Leffen and Chu had only faced off once prior to Shine 2017 at Genesis 4. Here, Leffen would play a set which many consider to be one of the most exciting Space Animal Dittos of all time versus Mango. His set versus Chu, however, was a top 8 qualifier, meaning the winner would move on to play for Championship Sunday with a guaranteed 7th place finish, and the loser would be knocked out of the event at 9th place. ChuDat would impressively take the first game, but it didn't matter. Leffen had Chu downloaded, and he would convincingly win the next 3 games straight.
Somewhere small?
Yeah, I think this game,
Leffen looks so comfortable with all this space. He doesn't mind the fact that he's got no platforms at all. That's a JV4.
Leffen is a top 8. That was brutal. I mean, game 1, he lost his footing.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, man, my boy went in, man.
But unlike Genesis, their set at Shine 2017 would not be this one-sided. The set begins with a strike to Dreamland, and Game 1 starts out about as you'd expect. Leffen looks to separate the ice climbers using a mix of aerials, up tilt, and shine, while ChuDat tries to keep the percent equal. At 7:30, Leffen kills ChuDat's Nana, and while it's not an entire stock lead, this puts Leffen far ahead, and he eventually takes the first stock about 25 seconds after that. Less than 10 seconds after ChuDat drops from the respawn platform, Leffen removes Nana yet again. A few punishes and neutral interactions later, and Leffen is up 4 stocks to 2. And as if things couldn't get worse, Leffen kills Chu's Nana for a 3rd time at 5:58. ChuDat takes Leffen's first stock about 30 seconds later at 5:29, but the deficit is enormous. With only 46% on Leffen, he kills ChuDat's final Nana, which is the proverbial nail in the coffin. While ChuDat is often regarded as one of the best Ice Climbers players without a Nana, Leffen's lead is just too massive.
At 129 versus 3 stocks, it's probably not going to be it. We're going to see FD pretty quick after this, the typical Ice Climber counterpick stage. Yeah, most likely.
Leffen unsurprisingly takes Game 1, and in line with commentators Vish and Webbs, ChuDat unsurprisingly counterpicks to Final Destination for Game 2. This game looks a bit more manageable than the hole Chu found himself in for Game 1, and it gets even better when Leffen self-destructs at the start of his second stock. At 6:02, ChuDat gets his first wobble of the set, which leaves him with a 2-stock to 1 lead. In 2017, many ice climbers relied heavily on a technique called wobbling. While its uses in modern-day play remain a bit controversial, wobbling is an infinite combo accessible only to the ice climbers in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and it requires having both ice climbers alive. If performed correctly, the opponent will be hit in an inescapable alternating rhythm, which ultimately leads to a guaranteed KO. With ChuDat taking a sizable lead, all he needs is another wobble to win Game 2. He finds a grab at 5:45 and fails to set up a wobble twice.
So we could see a repeat of that, of course.
Yeah, he's really strong.
Is that just going to be it?
Oh, he does a back throw, and he does another. What is going on?
I don't know. I feel like he had the setup twice there.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite the first one, but the second one really looked like it.
He had 2 chances for sure to close this out. I hope he doesn't kick himself out.
Leffen would ultimately clutch out this game to go up 2-0 in the set. It was beginning to look like a repeat of Genesis. Leffen was locked in, and he would only need a single game to win and advance in bracket. The two players returned to Final Destination for Game 3, but ChuDat seems different. He wins this game with a pretty convincing 2-stock. The set count is now 2-1, still in favor of Leffen. While Chu looked very strong in Game 3, an issue with going down 2 games in a best-of-5 set is that ChuDat now has to win on Leffen's counterpick twice in a row. Leffen goes Battlefield for Game 4. ChuDat goes up 3 stocks to 2 with a pair of wobbles, but Leffen answers back by knocking out Chu's Nana. Some players would consider being down 1 stock to a Sopo or Solo Popo an even game. But along with Chu's reputation as a top-level Ice Climbers player, he's also very well known for having one of the best Sopos in Melee.
Past 11 hits or something.
Yeah, by the way, Chu is like totally outplaying.
He's Sopo master, dude.
SFI right now.
He's the Sopo master.
Yeah, and Chu is so good in these situations, as we all know.
Yeah.
He's probably the best Sopo player currently.
Yeah.
I think so.
Currently.
Chu doesn't die for the rest of the game, and he somehow wins. Again.
And the Chu, like, positioned it really well. Dude, this
Look at this.
This Sopo.
Oh, that
How
missed?
did that miss? Okay, the forward tilt is...
Oh, what an angle. Oh my God.
He cleans it out with Sopo.
He just destroyed those last 2 stocks of Leffen.
In a set that seemed entirely in Leffen's favor, the two are somehow on Game 5. The winner of this next game advances in bracket, with the loser out of the tournament at 7th place. Before the game begins, Leffen asks for a quick controller check. He feels like something is off, but quickly nods it off and moves on for Game 5.
Turning pause on. The tech... Oh, okay, they're taking a small little breather, I guess. I think Chu wanted like a...
Controller check? Maybe that's what?
Resetting his
yeah, it looks like Leffen may have been resetting his controller. Wanted to check. Shield drops. Yeah, we're looking good.
Okay,
Right.
okay, cool.
A little head nod from him.
Yeah.
Fixes the head.
Leffen picks Yoshi's story, and Chu gets a wobble in the first 5 seconds of the game. He gets a second wobble just a few seconds later, but he drops it.
Jab reset?
Wobble? No! And
Wow!
too quick. Oh! But he's out of here.
He dropped it.
Chu later takes the stock, and with the count at 3-2, ChuDat Sopo is awarded yet another kill. It looks like a wrap, but Leffen picks up the pace to make an even game. Last game, last stock. And in an almost unsatisfactory ending, ChuDat KOs Leffen off the top, with up air of all moves. ChuDat wins Game 5, completing a reverse 3-0 to upset Leffen and knock him out of the tournament. He's completely ecstatic.
What's up, guys? Here at Shine 2017 Day 3 with ChuDat, right after a reverse sweep victory against TSM Leffen in the first round of Top 8. Chu, how are you feeling?
Dude, I'm so nervous. I'm so happy right now, but I feel great.
With this victory, Chu would continue his run in Top 8 with at least a 5th place finish guaranteed. Or so he thought.
Hello, my name is Dan Salvato, and I would like to talk about controllers.
Melee is a game where a controller can truly make or break a player. An unfortunate reality of the Smash community pre-2017 was that a player gifted with a superior controller would inarguably be able to perform certain advanced techniques more easily than those with a worse controller. This led to some home-style methods to test for potential controller issues.
You can test snapback, like if your controller has snapback, by going to the character select screen. Nobody does this, I just figured this out on my own, but go to the character select screen, go all the way to the left, and then keep flicking left on your control stick. And you can see if I do that with this controller, the control stick doesn't move to the right at all. But if I use, maybe this controller, I don't know if V-Man's controller does or not. If I do the same thing with his, yeah, you can see it bounce. You can see it bounce to the right sometimes. Very slightly. And if it does that, then your controller has snapback, and that results into some improper reverse neutral Bs. Snapback sucks.
Universal Controller Fix, or UCF for short, was designed to eliminate these discrepancies in controller performance. It was quite literally a fix for all controllers universally, making things like shield dropping and dashback feel consistent regardless of the state of your controller. To get a bit more technical, the dashback window was increased from 1 to 2 frames, and the spot dodge threshold was decreased from -0.7 to -0.8. These may seem like minuscule changes, but in the grand scheme of competitive Melee, it was enough to turn any controller into a good one, without making any of the game's core mechanics easier to perform. The reason I'm mentioning all of this now is because Shine 2017 was the first ever major event to implement UCF, and its existence, or lack thereof, is the sole reason for this controversy. After Chu's win, it was later discovered that the set was played on vanilla Melee instead of a UCF-enabled setup, which resulted in Leffen's now famous tweet, "IMO should be replayed." The entire tournament staff was, for lack of a better word, perplexed. Leffen and Chu technically already finished their set, and a competitive 5-game one at that, so the results should stand, right? Matt.Zeb, a well-known tournament organizer for the Northeast Melee scene, apparently noticed the discrepancy and sent a staff member to pause the match, but this was unsuccessful. Even though the match proceeded as scheduled, both players acknowledged after the set that something felt off, and the two would ultimately agree to replay the set. This sent spectators into a frenzy, with many shifting their negative attention towards Leffen. Shine's head TO, Shi Deng, confirmed that both players agreed to replay the match, but future accounts from players like Armada and even Leffen and Chu themselves don't exactly corroborate this.
In before someone mentions that Chu wanted to do a second set, ChuDat actually told me, because I talked to him slightly on Facebook, and he told me that he did not want to play a second set. he was forced to do a second set. So throw that argument out of the window. Chu did not want to play a second set.
And then I was just like, oh, okay. Well, are you telling me that like the only match that didn't have the UCF rule set was the match between me and Leffen? And then they were just like, yes, we deeply apologize to you for this, but you have to replay the match. I'm like, is there any way I can get out of this? And they're like, no, you have to replay it. And I'm like, okay, this is so stupid. And Crunch is trying to talk to them. Hungrybox is trying to talk to them. Nothing worked. And I was just like really pissed off.
He basically just said, all right, we're going to discuss this. I'll let you know what happens. And I said, okay. I did not push this at all. I was really like sad after I lost. I did not try to push this. Like a lot of people, I know people will accuse me of lying.
If it wasn't obvious, the entire situation was just a mess of miscommunication. Regardless, tournament staff had declared that the loser's quarter set between Leffen and ChuDat would be replayed, and with that the stakes were reset. With another lease on life, Leffen would have the chance to redeem his bracket, and Chu would be fighting to beat the 5th best player in the world for a second time. Their previous match was erased from Melee's history. This would be the set to decide it all. The set begins with the strike to Dreamland, and Game 1 starts out about as you'd expect. Leffen looks to separate the ice climbers using a mix of aerials, up tilt, and shine, while ChuDat... hang on, wrong set.
Dude, that set doesn't even matter, you know? You know what I mean?
What set?
What set? Yeah, exactly.
Sorry about that. Given the power of hindsight, Chu and Leffen strike to Battlefield for Game 1, and Leffen wins with a 2-stock. Yet again, Chu unsurprisingly counterpicks to FD. This counterpick works out for Chu better than the previous set. Both players would go to last stock, but Leffen would fail to clutch out a 2-0 lead. Now tied 1-1, Leffen counterpicks to Dreamland, where he convincingly 3-stocked Chu in their first set. This game wouldn't go as expected either, with ChuDat narrowly sneaking out the win. Chu was up 2-1, and a single win would allow him to advance in bracket, this time for real. But history doesn't always repeat itself. An unfortunate self-destruct would put ChuDat behind early in Game 4. At 6:52, ChuDat would drop a wobble that would have made up for his SD.
You're in air. He's gonna wobble off that.
Messes up.
Fortunately, the error only cost ChuDat 8% and some damage on Nana, as he finds a second wobble about 20 seconds later. Chu misses another wobble opportunity to even the stocks, and this opening is all Leffen needs to close out the game. The set is tied 2-2 again. Sounds of a crowd-chanted Game 10 rings in the background as ChuDat picks Fountain of Dreams for this set's epic conclusion.
Yes, Fountain of Dreams it is. Game 5.
Second set.
Not grand finals.
Not grand finals.
A wobble in the first 10 seconds of the game and a stock trade following that would leave Leffen at a 1-stock deficit, but Leffen would quickly even the game up at 6:30. Leffen would take another unanswered stock about 30 seconds later, and with Chu on his last stock, he loses his final Nana. It is now up to ChuDat's Sopo to close out 2 stocks against one of the best players in the world. But as luck would have it, this wasn't the first time his Sopo took out 2 straight stocks from a top 100 player.
It's so important right now to separate them, or even just get more damage on one of them. Even that I'd be happy with. Okay, there's the down smash. Oh, that up tilt was clutch. She's gone. She's gone. It's virtually over at this point. He gets the grab. He's gonna down throw. Not able to get much off the. Unbelievable! So pro! I can't believe what I just saw. ChuDat, an historical match.
While it's no secret that Chu is an incredible Sopo, he unfortunately was unable to go the distance. His last stock is lost, and the 10-game fiasco finally reaches its end. Leffen wins 3-2. Mixed emotion fills the room. The crowd was completely divided. Some fans pop off for Leffen winning the run back, some boo for the outcome, and I'm sure some wanted to see a third set. The thing is, this match was like any other at Shine 2017, except viewers got to see it twice. The results of the replayed set would leave ChuDat at 7th place. A commendable result, sure, but not exactly what he had hoped given the outcome of their first set. Leffen would move on to face Mewtwo King, where he would narrowly lose 2-3 to finish at 5th place. Melee at On Me released its annual Top 100 ranking for 2017, with ChuDat sitting just outside the top 10 at global rank 11. Chu believed he could have gone further after the initial victory against Leffen, but it's impossible to know just how far this particular bracket could have taken him. If the win stood, it's very possible that a reverse 3-0 against one of Melee's best could have brought Chu into a top 10 placement for 2017.
I really wanted to have that prestige of getting into 5th place at Shine, and I wanted to see if I could beat I think it was Mita King that I had to fight. It was Mita King. I had to fight Mita King, and I probably would have beat him too. So I could have gotten 4th, and then I probably had to fight Johnny, and I think I could have beat him as well. I just want to see how far I can go, but they didn't. My opportunity kind of was taken away from me. So that's it sucks. It sucks.
Unfortunately, Chu wouldn't get the chance to prove himself against Leffen until over a year later at the Big House 8, where Leffen would win their match 3-1. They haven't played a set against each other since. According to an article on Kotaku, Shine's tournament organizer Shi Deng personally took responsibility for the mistake, saying, quote, "It was bad. We kind of messed up. The good part is it didn't bleed into winter semis. We caught it early." Such a contentious topic will always have people sitting on both sides of the argument, but many agreed that Leffen shouldn't have been the one to receive such negative attention, as the decision was ultimately made by Shine's TO staff. I really don't know what to make of this story. After watching 2 sets, interviews, and future accounts from the players involved, we're left with a very unique situation that I think I can confidently say has rarely, if ever, happened in Melee's history. In any other tournament, ChuDat's win against Leffen would have counted, but Shine 2017 took a risk in an attempt to push the boundaries of competitive Melee. It didn't quite work out in this set, but it's an important lesson moving forward, and it set the groundwork for how tournaments are run to this day. As George Santayana once said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." It should go without saying that the replay was neither player's fault. Though many criticized the decision to have Leffen and Chu replay their set, its result was simply an unfortunate oversight from the recent implementation of UCF. Regardless of who you may blame, history has left us with a unique pair of sets that border on the line of their own existence. They are a blessing and a curse, a narrative that survives in the minds of some and does not in others. It was one of the only times in Melee's competitive history where multiple sets were played outside of grand finals, and it will forever remain a point of contention for fans of the game who know about it. We look to it as an example to understand these flickers in time, to learn from our mistakes, and to dream of what could have been. Leffen vs. ChuDat at Shine 2017 will forever remain a set so controversial it was played twice. But exactly which set you choose to keep in your own record books? Well, that's up to you.